Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another show of Round the Clock Cricket with me, Rahul. We have an overseas guest today, as we had been discussing. We start our Ashes preview, which is exactly a month and 2 days now, which will be running on the next 4 weekends till the 21st November. And we have our esteemed guest, Raj Khetarpal from Melbourne. Raj is an Australian, not by birth, but in Australia for the last almost 28, 29 years. And his house is about a kilometer from the great MCG. So Raj fills us with a lot of information about the Cricket Australia. We had him in our show when he started the channel. And it's good to have Raj back once again on two perspectives. We basically will discuss two things. One, we discuss what is the issue of, we briefly touched on it on the WTC review with Raj. So we discuss in detail now who's going to partner Khawaja. And if at all, a question was raised in our internal discussion, if at all USMAN KHAWAJA is playing as one of the openers. So that we'll also discuss. That's part A. And the part B of this first teaser is when we discuss the Ashes, basically. We discuss with Raj what is the Aussie viewpoint of the Ashes. So over to you, Amit. You can start off your discussion point first on the probably the Khawaja partner. Over to you, Amit.
Uh, Good afternoon, Raj. So I follow cricket quite a lot. So whatever I've seen in the last few years, it seems that this Bancroft and Matt Renshaw, they have been performing really well in the Sheffield Shield. I think you probably will probably also agree to a certain extent. But having said that, do you really feel that Sam Constance at this point of time, because of his age factor, he is little ahead in terms of place in the Aussie setup as compared to a Bancroft or a Matt Renshaw
Raj,
in
before you
partnering,
start,
obviously. Yeah.
Raj, just to interrupt, can you see the screen?
I can perfectly.
Yeah, thanks. That's for your reference. Yeah, over to you, Raj.
Thank you. No, really good to see the analysis there, Amit. Look, I feel that how Australian selectors and the cricket board pick a side is to win. So that's the first thing they look for is what is the winning combination. Performances in Sheffield Shield matter to an extent, but overall they will be focusing very heavily on the mindset of the opener. So they want to give Khawaja, if Khawaja is obviously fit throughout the 5 matches, a perfect foil because they want somebody who can speed up the scoring because that's what, if you see, to counter the English style of their openers, how their openers can speed it up playing their version of baseball. So they will want somebody who can actually be exciting. Sam Constance does offer that. However, the challenge with Sam Constance is consistency. So I think ultimately the view will be, will someone like Matthew Renshaw give them consistency across the 5 matches, which Sam Constance hasn't been able to produce, in any tangible way. So I think that'll be the key focus. So all the news that is coming out is it's between Sam Constance and Matthew Renshaw, with somebody also putting Manus Labuschagn's name in the middle for opening, but I don't think they will experiment to that degree. The Australian Cricket Board is a conservative board. They don't experiment so much. Except for they did against India, and Sam Constance really rubbed India, and kind of someone like Virat Kohli was going and shoulder charging him within his first few overs of his debut, so which was a bit of a shame, I think. So
I have a pointer.
Yeah,
I
go
have a
ahead.
pointer
Please,
here,
please,
Raj.
please, please, Amit. Please, Amit.
So see, I understand that they may be looking at a Matt Renshaw at some point of time if Sam Constance is not kind of performing to their expectations. But having said that, I also see that Cameron Bancroft has been consistently playing well in the Sheffield Shield in the last 2-3 seasons. In the 2000, I think 22-23, he was a top run getter. He has got a compact technique. He probably has improved his temperament also a little bit. Yet he keeps getting overlooked. I mean, which actually baffles me because I don't. I mean, coming from the late 90s era when Australia were having this Mark Taylor kind of openers, I personally felt when I saw Cam Bancroft, he was of similar league of, like someone like let's say Mark Taylor. So, do you think that
Yeah.
this the sandpaper gate hangover that actually went against him, like while maybe it's not an official reason, but is it something like that Bancroft comment in this? I think in late in 2020-21 when he said that the senior bowlers knew about this ball tempering episode in South Africa, that actually went against him.
100%. His career has been sacrificed compared to that of David Warner and Steve Smith. So they've had a comeback. Yeah, they've had a comeback. He hasn't had a comeback, and I don't think they're going to let him come back in the Ashes.
So
It's
that
improbable.
that does mean that the sandpaper gate hangover is still there, right?
100%. Even though it has been a few years, and there's been a lot of pardons and forgiveness and all that has happened, but I don't think he's out of it.
Uh, I mean that was
Yeah.
my only question. I mean, because
Yeah.
Cameron Bancroft, I have seen him play live in the Sheffield Shield. Also, these days you get to see all these cricketing matches, right? In
Yeah.
everywhere, wherever you go. Earlier, we were not having the privileges, but nowadays with so many TV channels, we get to see often this kind of players performing at the highest level. So, yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, Raj. That's all from my end for the first part. Over to you,
Absolutely.
Rahul.
Yeah,
It's like
thanks, Amit.
sorry, it's like any cricketer who gets tainted once, it's very hard to come back. But they backed Warner and Smith. I don't think they're going to back
Just because of
Bancroft.
the pedigree, just because of Warner's and Smith's pedigree, they backed them rather than Cam Bancroft.
Yeah, they needed somebody to be the fall guy, and he became the fall guy. Unfortunate.
Unfortunately, it's very unfortunate because I personally feel that at this point of time, also Cam Bancroft is one of the best that you have in Australia. So
Yeah.
anyway, it's my opinion, but thank you so much, Raj, for clarifying my kind of thoughts.
So good point.
Yeah, thanks,
Thanks,
Amit. Good
thanks.
question. Thanks, Raja. Over to you, Sudeep.
Yeah, thanks, Rahul. Raj, I have just, one question that you see, Australia has such a, robust domestic cricket infrastructure. But, over the last few years, ever since, Warner has departed, and they have not been able to find a steady, a quality opening batsman who can partner Khwaja. In fact, Khwaja is also not getting younger. He's more than 38 years. So what is exactly is the problem that they have not been able to find a steady opening combination?
Yeah,
I think,
like
Raj, that is
any
a general question in India also, just to put it,
yeah.
that Australia being such a organized infra like India, why are we not able to find an opener?
Look, the opening quandary is one which is quite timeless. If you think about the consistent, question for the Indian sides over the last so many decades, or for any side, when the English visited Australia for the Ashes the last time, their opening scene was quite pathetic. Those openers are long gone. So it's always hard, and that's why, to face like in a Perth, a pace attack, a full stadium, the sun beating down, and the ball doing things when it's brand new. To face that takes a certain sort of a skill set, which is not so easy to produce when the emphasis, everyone wants to be like a flashy six hitter nowadays coming up the ranks. They want the multi-million dollar, you know, contracts, big bash. Even kids, if you see, the kids are free to go and watch the Big Bash League. So the children are getting exposed to T20 cricket rather than Test cricket. That's the cricket which is free to air, uh, as we discussed the last time, the Ashes was not even free to air. When the last time Australia was in England. So there are many challenges, mainly due to investment, funding, and money. Basically, money is the main cause. So why don't they have more better openers? Is down to also being very competitive between the states. You can say, unlike India, there's fewer states in Australia, but there's always this competitive sort of a fight between New South Wales and Victoria, Tasmania. They all and Queensland. They're all fighting to get their people into the sides. So there are many factors, but the Australian cricketers are used to the challenges the selectors pose, which is a very high standard. That's why even a Matthew Hayden, who's now being celebrated as one of the best openers Australia's produced, or consistent in their performance, or Justin Langer, they will all say that the Australian selectors are quite hopeless. All cricketers feel their selectors are hopeless. So it's hard to say that there's one reason why they aren't able to produce an opener. It's down to the discipline, the art of Test cricket, where the grassroots level coaching is now also having to reinvent itself and coach players who can make a living from the game, and they can only do that if they're hitting boundaries or hitting sixes, and not sticking around like a old fashioned Test cricketer, which is what a game of patience, which is what the opening partnership is all about. Build the innings, wear out the ball for at least 20 overs, play till lunch. I mean, that would be immense if you can have an opening partnership till lunchtime, which is a rarity in Test cricket nowadays.
This, too much of T20 and this leagues, this has had a, negative impact on the technique of the, batsmen.
100%. Yes, yes. That is the main cause.
Yeah.
But behind if there was no money in T20 cricket, then
Then,
it
yeah,
won't be a problem.
true.
But because the shorter form of the game, now they are imagining a T10 format. They are trying to say, what can we sell to the United States? So even T20 is too long for the United States.
Thanks, Raj. That was my. Over to you, Rahul.
Thanks, Sudeep. And your question.
Yeah. So, hello, Raj. Yeah, the question was basically about Sam Constas, and we just discussed him briefly. As you also mentioned that he's one who is a pretty sort of ebullient cricketer. He just comes out, and the appearance that we get about him is that he's really one slapdash guy. He sort of, I think just a few days back he played the reverse scoop of Matt Boland or something in Sheffield Shield and all, right? And he charges down the track and against Bumrah and all, first innings, really, really aggressive. But if you look at his strike rate, it is only 56. That is far lower than, say, Virender Sehwag, or even if you see among the current crop of Test openers. I mean, of openers in Australia, say English, Josh Inglis has 78. So, is this, does Constas use this as just a sort of a controlled, uh, you know, technique, or controlled pattern of suddenly trying to disturb the rhythm of the bowler by charging this and playing some very, very strange shots when the bowler is not expecting? Or does he seem to have sudden rushes of blood? Which do you think? Is this something that is planned, or is this something that he just cannot control himself and is a problem? Like, how would you see it?
My sort of reading of Sam Constas, he's a typical young Australian, Gen Z, you can call him. He's just about 20, I guess. And he has grown up watching, T20 cricket, unlike predecessors who evolved into that format. So I think he is somebody who he does this out of sheer design because he can. He's audacious. That's part of his personality. I mean, he tried the reverse scoop against Bumrah as well, and that's what
Mhm.
rubbed the Indian team off so much. And I think they were very unkind to him. They should have celebrated his audaciousness because that's what the Indian cricketers like to do themselves. They are all audacious bunch. But so yeah, I think he does this out of sheer uh, what I can call like a he has this muscle, like this is how his muscle is formed in the
Mhm.
T20 style, trying new things. Uh, it was totally unbelievable that he was in the side in the first place because
Mhm.
Australia doesn't do that.
Mhm.
Australia don't bring 19-year-olds into the side. It's unthinkable.
So
It's
what
like
did they see in him really? I mean, because does he really have such an outstanding record anyway, or is this just this attitude which is so interesting?
yeah, it's his attitude, his willingness to do this because many other properly, brought up cricketers would never dream of trying to reverse scoop Jasprit Bumrah.
Hmm.
So I think it's just that he's so audacious, and they just wanted to shake up the Indian team, and the Indian team really got shook up. The test match at the MCG was the one that India should have won,
Hmm.
given Nitish Kumar Reddy's 100 and the way Pant was going till he got that brain freeze against Travis Head.
Yes, yes, right, right.
Uh, it was a test match which could have reversed that series.
Yeah, exactly.
Because their performance after Perth in Brisbane was, very average.
Hmm.
Obviously, pink ball India is yet to kind of
Yeah, yeah. Get used to.
perfect it. MCG was the one they could have really come back, but they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So you're saying that he does it out of design, but he's not, I mean, per se, if you look at these strike rates, he's not the most, he doesn't have the highest strike rate at all by any. I mean,
Yeah.
Matty Hayden was 60, if I remember, and he's like 56, which is like, it's a decent strike rate. It's not that he's like, trying to crash, every
No.
ball for fours, but he just does this so that I think the bowlers get out of rhythm. That is an interesting proposition.
Yeah, but
Okay.
he was given the backing by the team management. I think
Hmm.
that's part of the design that it wouldn't work if he was told, don't do this. He was told
Hmm.
to do it.
Spoil the rhythm.
And he did. He did it brilliantly, and
Yes, against India, yes.
he got under the Indian skins,
Hmm.
which they shouldn't have lost that. I don't think it was the right thing to do to a 19-year-old who is trying to, prove himself.
Hmm.
They should have
Okay.
done let their ball do the talking rather than do the talking.
I mean, the Indian team has changed a lot, right? I mean, what we grew up seeing. Of course, there was Sunil Gavaskar's infamous, walkout at the MCG, but that was, of course, something which probably, he was niggled continuously by Lilly and probably got a very raw decision, and there was anyway a lot of anger, but about the Australian umpiring, I guess, those days. Now those things are not there, but I think
Yeah.
the cricket team has in general become far more aggressive. I think that way. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, they're trying.
and the aggression is, I think the aggression is most welcome. It's just that there has to be a right point of inflection where
Yes, right,
it
right,
should happen,
correct.
and it should happen more in performance. Like I would say, I love the way Mohammad Siraj shows his aggression.
Hmm. But you wouldn't like the way you didn't like the way Kohli sort of showed it. Did used to show
Oh,
it.
absolutely, he should have been banned for probably a test match.
That's an interesting comment. Yeah, okay, that's what I had, I guess.
It would have done well for the Indian side if he got banned for the test match.
Because he's not doing such. I mean, I think yeah, his contribution as a batsman, I think, has been failing. I think he's got a duck today as well, and
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
getting yeah.
exactly that.
Hmm. That's an interesting comment. Yeah, so that's from my side, Ran.
Thanks, Aaron. I will finish off the discussion. Raj, actually, my question is rather prompted by a last 1 week performance of Manas Labuschagne. You just briefly
Mm.
touched on that. He scored 400s in the last 5 official matches, which has prompted some Australian people to say that why not play Marnus with Khawaja, which has been done before. And then so that you can, that's a very interesting observation because you can then accommodate Green and Webster both in the middle order. Because there is a conscious effort to push both Green and Webster. Because I think it's like a sort of Jack Callis, Kapil Dev scenario. Both are going to serve Australian cricket for long, especially Green is 23. Webster is about 30. So what's your take on this that Manas does it fit in the scheme of things once again in a very tough series like this? Or do you think Constance is the safe bet to start off at Perth?
Look, I think
I'm just going by Manas's last 1 week performance. Because you say that a person in form should be groomed. A lot of thoughts go into that as in cricket. A person in form should be put in.
Yeah, it's a bit like trying to experiment with Steve Smith in the opening slot. He's a better batsman even than Labuschagne. He's probably the best batsman at the moment. But does that warrant a elevation to the opener slot? Two things come to mind. One is Marnus Labuschagne's frame of mind. I think he's the perfect number 3 batsman, which is his natural position. I think he'll slot back in there really well. I think the race is between Renshaw and Constas. And I think at this stage, it could be Renshaw who gets the nod. He's played a lot more Test cricket than Sam Constas. He's seen to be more mature. He's also partnered with Khwaja a lot more. So I think there are many factors going in that favor. And I don't think they want India-style ambush that Constas provided against the English. Because let's be honest, the English bowlers, at least India only had one Jasprit Bumrah at that speed. 2 of the English bowlers consistently bowl faster than Bumrah, and they can do that for a lot longer without breaking down.
And that is probably what England will throw at Australia. I think they will take the chance of Archer and Wood in the first innings itself with 90 plus, as you rightly said.
If they are both fit, they will both play. And that too in Perth, which this is not as bouncy a track as the traditional Perth track.
But Optus is a drop-down pitch, Raj. It's a drop-down pitch.
But still, it's a lively wicket. And you saw India won there. In fact, India hasn't lost a Test match in Perth for a while now.
Correct. So you think it's going to not be Labuschagne? Labuschagne is at 3, better suited at 3. But there's a temptation. There's a temptation to play. He's got 650 in the last 4 matches. Against Queensland, against you guys, against almost all the states, he's got runs in the last 1.5 weeks.
I didn't follow it as closely as to say which position he batted at. So if he batted as an opener, it would be...
No, he batted at 3.
Yeah. So that's what...
He batted at 3, but he got big daddy hundreds. He got a 150, he got a 140, he got a 150, he got a 105. I was not following, but someone sent me then I went up to this on the websites and saw that he scored some big 100. So I thought I'd frame this question. So you still think it's a Renshaw versus Constas fight?
It is, yes.
Which Fox Sports is also...
Don't forget, this is also one of those situations where what if Khwaja gets injured? We don't know.
That is exactly where my sub-question is coming. Yes, please carry on, Raj.
The Khwaja might get injured in the nets. He might, there are so many possibilities. So I think that's the challenge that even the Australian selectors will have, that, he is getting on. This is going to be his swan song. If he performs...
Probably, I think he'll be lucky if he is selected. And that is my next question. Do you think... this could was on Kunal's question, basically. Do you think, given his very shoddy form, apart from the 232 in Sri Lanka, which is a different pitch in subcontinent, do you think USMAN KHAWAJA warrants a place in the first place? We're talking about his partner so long, but does he warrant a place? Is the question.
For 2 reasons. One is his past Test record, and secondly, it is to do
with... Australian culture is not past record like India. We had carried Virat Kohli for 5 years, but Australians don't carry a star. Normally you throw away. You threw Hilly, you threw Gilchrist. You didn't allow Gilchrist to play 100 Test matches. You didn't give a farewell series to Hilly. Australia is known for ruthlessness. Do you think they're being a little lenient on Khwaja because they know that two new openers might create a lot of trouble? Probably that's the thinking.
Yeah, that will be part of the thinking. It's back to that, traditionally the Australian Cricket Board has been very conservative and they will not want to chop and change too much, especially if Pat Cummins is out.
Yeah,
There are too
that is a
many.
huge blow. That's a blow.
Yeah.
That's a big blow.
So there are
We'll
too
come to
many
that in our questions.
possibilities.
Yeah. So
And
you're saying
Khwaja
you're
has
saying
a lot of experience. So
but I think as Amit rightly pointed out, he's getting a little slower. His footwork is getting a little slower. I can see that.
yeah.
He's getting a little slower. So you think he's at least starts? He starts off.
Yeah.
He starts the series.
Khwaja will start off and then
Start off.
a lot depends. It's just like how even Australia changed their opening partner for Khwaja to Sam Constas in the fourth test match of the series.
Right. So it is basically a Constas. So we more or less finalize on Constas versus Renshaw. Mostly.
Yeah.
So according to you, it is either Renshaw. I think it's going to be Renshaw. They may not risk Constas because Constas failed very poorly in Sri Lanka, to my surprise.
Not really, because that was his first tour outside Australia. I think the expectation that he will perform in Sri Lanka would have been very high because it's a different batting conditions. He has mainly played in Australia at that level.
You guys seem to have just off the hook. You guys seem to have so many substitutes, Webster, Green. You have places which are like India to be filled. But the opening seems to be a lot of problem. We spoke about it 6 months back. Still looks a problem.
Yeah, and it will continue. I mean, I think the challenge with the opening is that you need batsmen who are quite self-assured, and you can only be self-assured if your place in the side is assured. Then you'll be self-assured, and that's the challenge. Like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do you assure a place first, or do you let them perform first? So I think it's more like a selector's dilemma. They can solve it by saying, look, we are backing you all 5 test matches, perform.
A final word on Callaway, because in India there's a lot of interest on this kid, Callaway. Yes, have you seen him, Callaway?
No, I haven't, but not so much here. I don't think so.
He toured India and Australia side and scored some big scores. And I've seen a lot of websites in Australia that he's the next Mark Waugh, maybe. I don't know. I'm not too sure. Very stylish, big match player. Yeah. Amit has been following up Callaway, so we came to know from him. So we have different people in our team looking at different aspects of Australian cricket. So Callaway you have not seen much of Callaway.
I haven't. And look, what happens in Australia is that the performance has to be so consistent at home, going overseas, and playing in your age group and playing one level above. Only then you get this opportunity to wear the baggy green. It's not very easy to get.
Unlike India, that's why you have openers at 28, 29. I think Renshaw, most of the openers are around 27, 28, except Constas.
Yeah.
Could be.
Except that's what I'm saying. Constas was a total out of the box pick, and he did his job because
he was out of the box pick. Yeah.
It really upset India's rhythm.
Correct.
Yeah,
so I think we have come to the conclusion that it is either going to be Renshaw or Constas. But looking at the Australian perspective, you think, Raj, it is going to be Matt Renshaw, mostly Renshaw. Should be.
Yeah, it should be, given the performance issue that we are talking about. And I don't think they want that kind of a personality to go and rub up the English bowlers. They are a different side to the Indian side that was there. Yeah, and they just couldn't figure it out. And for the English, I mean, I don't imagine someone like a Ben Stokes trying to shoulder charge Sam Constas before the.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so they are used to all this talking and people talking.
And remember, Raj, that the bowling in England I mean, the English bowling in against India is not what it is now. I think it's a much stronger bowling with Wood and Archer both fit, with Carr, Stung, and Stokes. If Stokes is injured, it's a different issue. But with 5 bowlers going, I think it's quite a. I mean, this is what we did not understand when India drew the series, and we finally realized that English bowling was much weaker than everybody thought. But against you guys, I think this bowling is a little stronger.
Yeah, because England will always give the Ashes a higher priority.
Priority, correct. So they
So
held
they
back
wanted,
Archer.
they wanted Wood to recover. They
Recover. Yeah.
brought back Archer at that time, and they saw enough, and they didn't want him to push beyond that because they wanted.
I think they did not push Wood at all because there was talks that Wood might play the last Test match, which they could have won, but they held Wood back. Even at the cost of losing the Test, they held Wood back. But which you're right.
And don't forget, by then Ben Stokes was carrying an injury as well.
Injury.
So
we'll discuss that in the Ashes part. But thank you, Raj, so much. So in the first half an hour, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the conclusion with the Aussie expert that it's either going to be Matt Renshaw or it's going to be Sam Constant. But mostly looks like even we discussed also, as Amit has been following Australian cricket, Matt Renshaw. So on that note, we thank you, Raj. In the first part, we finish.